Hey everyone, it's technology expert Burton Kelso here with another tech tip to help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Today we're talking about privacy settings in Windows and Macintosh computers. You may not know this, but there's a good possibility that both the current operating systems Windows 10 and Mac OS Catalina may be spying on you and your surfing habits. So what can you do? Well, the challenge is there's a couple of things you can do as far as your privacy settings are concerned, but the main thing is that you need to understand the revolution or the evolution, not revolution. It could be a revolution, but it's not. The evolution of operating systems for desktop computers. Most operating systems for desktop computers, whether it be, well, not necessarily Linux, but our main players, Macintosh and Windows, have evolved where they can track what you do and to target ads based on your operating system. Well, the good thing is that you can turn those settings off, but it's important to understand that your desktop computer, especially if you have an internet connection, is connected and it has to talk to home base. So whether it be a Windows or Mac computer, it has to talk to either Apple or Microsoft in order to download those important updates that essentially keep your computer safe and secure from all of the cyber threats that are going on out there. Windows and Mac computers work best when they're left on all the time. So if you've got an iMac or Mac Mini that you wonder if you should leave on or off, or a Windows computer that you want to know if you should leave on and off, the best way to do is to leave it on so it gets those updates. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you protect your privacy so that people can't see what you're doing, or the manufacturers can't see what you're doing too. Pretty simple, probably one of the easiest tech tips that I've shared as far as changing your privacy settings in your operating system. So luckily I'm talking about Windows and Mac today. So we're going to switch screens, go to the desktop of a Windows computer, then we'll work on you Mac users to change those settings as far as your privacy is concerned. Let's switch screens like we always do, and we are gonna go off. Okay, so now we're on a Windows desktop computer. So one of the things that you can do to check privacy is to go into the search bar, and then you can just type in the word privacy settings, or just privacy if you could spell it right. So we can type out privacy settings and it'll take us to our Windows privacy settings options. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can show suggested content in your apps, which is on, but most of the privacy settings that are maybe on by default, you want to turn off. So for example, let apps use advertising ID to make ads more interesting to you based on your app activity. You can turn that off. You don't need it. Windows does not need this feature. Next, let websites provide local relevant content by accessing my language list. Again, a setting that you can turn off. Third and final, let Windows track apps launches to improve start and search window results. You can definitely make sure that you turn this off. Again, what this does is it allows Microsoft to see what your surfing habits are, and what they do is they sell that information on to other sources. So make sure you turn those settings off. Doesn't mean that someone's going to hack into your computer and get access to your precious data, but it allows Microsoft to kind of track and see what you're doing within Windows. So you definitely want to make sure that you turn those privacy settings off. Now, what about a Macintosh computer? Believe it or not, Apple, not necessarily knowing what it is that you're doing, there are location services that you can turn off so that Apple can't see where you are. Let's switch to our desktop, and we've got a Mac, sort of kind of, with Catalina on it. Beautiful picture of the Catalina Islands there. Now, most of your settings in Mac are going to be under the Apple menu. So follow my mouse up to the Apple menu, and let's click on the Apple menu. From there, you want to go to System Preferences. So let's go ahead and click on System Preferences. Once we're under System Preferences, you want to go to Security and Privacy. Let's go ahead and click on that. I actually double click on that, and then we're in the privacy tab. Now there are specific programs that can request that they have access to your operating system. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. But the thing that you want to be concentrated on with your Mac is the location services, which is down at the, or I should say at the very top. So what you want to do as far as location services under security privacy is whenever you make system changes on your Mac, you have to authenticate it by unlocking it. And when you get this prompt on your Mac, basically what it's asking is the username that you use to log into your computer, and it is asking for the password that you use to log into your computer to get access to those secure sites on your Mac or secure places on your Mac so that you can make system changes. Now, there are different areas that can be used to track your location services on your Mac, whether it be weather, Siri and dictation, maps, calendar, etc., etc. Depending on how you use your Macintosh computer, I would uncheck all of these. Now, unfortunately, I like to use Siri and dictation on the Mac Mini that I'm currently connected to, but I'm going to leave that on. Or what you can do to just take that all off is just to click on the tab that says location services. And I won't do this, but if you don't want Mac to use your location services, definitely turn that feature off. Pretty simple tip as far as making sure that your Mac is not letting Apple know where you are, and at the same time it's just a good safety precaution just in case your Mac Apple ID password falls into the wrong hands. Now let's talk about something else that we should share as far as location services too, and that's how your Apple and Windows computer logs into your operating system. Because the challenge is that Windows and Microsoft want you to use, not Windows and Microsoft, Windows and Apple want you to use online accounts that basically can leave your information prone if you use an online account. Now let's switch to Windows and we'll talk about how that works. Now in a Windows operating system, there's two ways that you can log in. You can log in using a local account, or you can log in using an online account. Now if we go to Control Panel, and then once we scroll down to Control Panel, go to User Accounts, we can change our account preferences by, and I went too fast, under the section that says make changes to my account under PC settings. What this does is it allows you to use an online account, or you can use a local account. Now, one of the reasons I use an online account is to make sure that my devices are synchronized together. I've got a Windows desktop and a Windows laptop computer. Same thing on the Apple side. I've got a MacBook Pro and I have a Mac Mini. And I like those devices to synchronize. But if you're not a cloud user, you might want to consider turning those features off. So let's go back to our desktop. So there is the info. I've got a Microsoft account, so I can manage all my settings and stuff with the Microsoft account. Now I would recommend for most of you users to sign in with a local account instead. It basically keeps a lot of your information off of the web, because if you sign on with a Microsoft account, every device that's signed on with a Microsoft account, and it doesn't matter the brand of a Windows computer, it has location services enabled with that too. If you switch to a local account, like I specified here, you basically just keep all that information localized, and you can do that on your desktop and your laptop computer. Now, let's go to our Apple virtual machine and look at the settings in the same place, because you can have an online account with an Apple device, and that's basically when you enter your Apple ID into your Mac. So if we go to the menu here and we go to System Preferences, let's go to System Preferences and see if I can do this off of the top of my head. We go to Internet Accounts. That's probably the wrong section to go to because that's email. That would be one way that you could get access to your stuff. But basically, at the very top where you see the Apple ID, iCloud, Media, and App Store, if you see that, that means that your Macintosh is logged in with your Apple ID. Now the good news is that your Mac is logged in with your Apple ID. All your devices are controlled with iCloud, and you can go to iCloud.com and see where all of those settings are as far as your Macintosh is concerned. It's good as far as locating Macs, locating your iPhone or iPad. So overall, it's a good situation to have. But at the same time, if you want to keep things a little private and central, then you probably want to log out with your Apple ID, and there you go. You can see everything that's logged in with the Apple ID. And there's all the devices that are there too, and iCloud is set up as well. But one of the things that you might want to consider, if you don't want all that stuff compromised, number one, use a secure password with your online accounts. But number two, you don't have to log in with an Apple ID or an online account with your Microsoft computer. You can go ahead and turn those features off and still have full access to all of the items that you use on your Mac. Now, like I said, again, I don't mind having this turned on because I'm using all of this with an Apple ID. But if you don't want your devices linked and you just want to keep everything centralized, feel free to log out of your Microsoft account or your Apple account to kind of keep things a little more safe, secure. Again, if you want to synchronize all of your information in the cloud with your Apple device and your Microsoft account, be sure to use safe and secure passwords or passphrases to ensure that your information is safe in the cloud. So with that being said, if you have any comments or questions about this tech tip in keeping your Macintosh or Windows computer secure, leave them in the comment section below. If you want to see more tech tips like this one, be sure to either subscribe to my company Integral, a finger went over too far, or myself, Burton Kelsel, the technology expert, on YouTube or on all of the social media platforms, always sharing tips and tricks designed to help you get more from the technology that you use in your home or business. So take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile, and thanks for watching.